Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital Today channel. Drew lost his wife for the second time, and the fallout has shaken Port Charles in ways no one could have predicted, especially now that he's poised to ruin yet another wedding while Michael's true purpose inches closer to the surface. Willow, once the quiet, steady heart in the Corinthos orbit, is spiraling into panic on what should have been the happiest day of her life. Instead, she's trapped between the consequences of her past, the expectations of her future, and the secrets that threaten everything she's tried so desperately to rebuild. Nina Reeves, still raw from the backlash of her affair with Drew Kane and the estrangement that followed, steps into the chaos with a surprising, and almost desperate, offer: run. Don't marry him. Leave now before it's too late. But even Nina knows, deep down, that Willow is unlikely to take the bait. The bitterness between them has hardened into something almost immovable. Willow has not forgiven Nina for sleeping with Drew or for hiding the truth, a choice that left Willow blindsided, humiliated, and ultimately cost her custody of her children. Whether that blame is rational or not doesn't matter. What matters is that Willow believes it, and belief is what fuels every decision she makes. When Nina stands by her side in the preview scenes, whispering that she will walk out with her if she only says the word, she's met with silence, heavy, suffocating silence that says more than any speech could. Nina is searching Willow's face for a sign of doubt, a flicker of fear, a plea for rescue. But Willow gives her nothing. She can't. Not when she's barely keeping herself together. Something isn't right, that much is obvious even to the casual viewer. But the people closest to Willow are too blinded by the chaos surrounding this second-chance wedding to see the truth that's practically screaming beneath the surface. Liesl Albrecht, ever perceptive, was the first to notice the crack. "Are you happy, Willow?" she asked gently, almost cautiously. And Willow's of course, came too fast, too high, too forced. It wasn't believable, not to Liesl, not to fans, and not to anyone who knows Willow well enough to hear the tremor beneath her words. The fanbase is buzzing, convinced that Willow is hiding something bigger than cold feet, that her reasons for marrying Drew have nothing to do with love and everything to do with strategy. But then again, if she had some master plan brewing all this time, why did she look so stunned when Drew proposed? Why was she caught off guard if she'd been preparing for this moment? The questions pile up, and the answers seem further away than ever. Nina may be able to sense her daughter's inner turmoil, mother's intuition rarely misses, but that doesn't mean she has any power to stop what's coming. Willow has mastered the art of looking calm when she's breaking, hiding truth beneath politeness, concealing anxiety beneath soft smiles. And Nina, already stripped of credibility in Willow's eyes, is the last person who could talk her out of a decision she's already convinced herself she must make. Spoilers reveal Nina has no clout in this situation, emotionally or socially. The damage from her affair with Drew didn't just wound Willow, it severed something essential. And yet, somehow, Willow still invited her. Despite everything, despite the betrayal, the lies, the blame, the shattered trust, Willow still values family. Or at least she values the idea of family, the dream of it, the version she's been chasing her whole life. And for that reason alone, she allowed her mother to attend this wedding. But showing up is one thing. Trying to pry your daughter away from her own vows? That's another. Nina already inadvertently destroyed the first wedding attempt, and many fans are stunned to see her involved again, hovering close, whispering warnings, urging Willow to flee. If Nina doesn't tread carefully, Willow's fragile tolerance could crack into open hostility. Trust is a must. But trust is the one thing Willow no longer has to give. Not to Nina. Not to Michael. Not even to Drew. Her mother's instincts may be screaming that something terrible is underway, but instincts alone won't give Nina the key to Willow's thoughts. Willow has learned the hard way that secrets are safer kept to herself. She doesn't trust anyone, not even her own family. And why should she? She's endured betrayal after betrayal, disappointment after disappointment, each one shaping the guarded woman she's become. She knows she hasn't been perfect, but she expects honesty in return, and the people she once loved most have failed her repeatedly. Her bitterness toward Michael runs deep, rooted in the pain of discovering his scheme to frame her. This is the man she once loved with every fiber of her being, the father of her child, the person she believed would never hurt her. And yet, he did. And she has not forgiven him, not even a little. As for Nina, Willow still carries the sting of betrayal over the affair with Drew, but the anger manifests differently. With Nina, it's a wounded daughter's disappointment. With Michael, it's something sharper and darker. Still, Willow's willingness to forgive Drew, or at least to hold him to a different standard, raises questions she doesn't want anyone asking. Why does she give him that grace? Why is she marrying him when it's clear her heart is nowhere in this? What is she really planning? Something is off, deeply off. And though fans can feel it, and Nina can sense it, Willow isn't letting anyone inside her head. She has a plan, of that much, everyone is certain, but whatever she intends to do, she's doing it alone. She won't confide in Nina. She won't trust Liesl. She won't turn to Michael. She won't lean on Drew. She's keeping her strategy locked inside, hidden beneath carefully composed smiles and steady breaths. Because Willow knows one thing for certain, if she reveals what she's planning, if she exposes the truth too soon, everything could fall apart before she's ready. And she can't let that happen. Not when so many people are watching. Not when her future hangs in the balance. Not when Michael is hiding his true purpose, moving pieces around the chessboard while pretending to be the supportive, reformed ex-Willow may not know the full extent of Michael's intentions, but she feels the tension beneath the surface, the unease that comes whenever he steps too close. Michael has always been calculated when pushed, capable of moves no one sees coming until it's too late. And Willow knows him well enough to recognize that look in his eyes, the look of a man who is going to act, consequences be damned. Meanwhile, Drew, oblivious to half the emotional war unfolding around him, is walking into this wedding believing he's getting a second chance at a life he thought he'd lost forever. But in the eyes of many viewers, Drew is about to lose his wife for the second time, not through death, but through secrets, lies, and his own inability to truly see the woman he's marrying. This wedding isn't built on love. It's built on pressure, fear, regret, manipulation, and unresolved trauma. And somewhere within all of that mess, Willow is clinging to a plan that she believes is her only way forward. Whether that plan destroys Drew, exposes Michael, alienates Nina even further, or creates a new disaster entirely, remains to be seen. What's certain is this: Willow Tate is not happy. Something is wrong. Something is brewing. Something is about to explode. And no one, not Nina, not Drew, not Michael, has any idea what she's truly capable of when pushed to her breaking point. But as Willow stands there in her wedding dress, staring at her reflection with haunted eyes, another realization hits her with the weight of a collapsing world: she has no one left who understands her. No one left who sees what she's hiding behind her tightly stitched composure. Even Wiley and Amelia, the lights of her life, feel miles away today, not in distance, but in connection. She wants to be their rock, their protector, the mother who makes all the right choices. Yet lately, her entire existence feels like it's been constructed on decisions made out of fear rather than strength. Willow has changed. Life forced her to. Pain reshaped her into someone harder, someone more guarded, someone who refuses to be blindsided again. And still, despite the armor she's built around herself, today she feels terrifyingly exposed, as if one wrong word, one wrong question, one wrong look might shatter her entire facade. Her hands tremble slightly, barely noticeable to anyone but herself. She hides them by clasping the bouquet tighter, grounding herself in its weight. Deep breaths. Keep smiling. Keep pretending. Keep moving forward. Meanwhile, Nina lingers in the doorway like a ghost of every mistake Willow has tried to outrun. Her mother's face is etched with worry, the kind of desperate concern only a parent can wear, even when they know they have lost the right to express it. Nina's presence is a constant reminder of betrayal, yet also an echo of the mother Willow once quietly longed for. There's a conflict in Willow, anger wrapped around pain, but threaded through with a small, persistent ache for her mother's approval. For her love. For the relationship they never quite figured out how to build. Nina sees the panic flicker across Willow's features, the fleeting expression Willow tries to hide. And Nina makes one last attempt, her voice soft, pleading, trembling. "You don't have to do this, sweetheart. If you're scared, if you're unsure, we can walk out together. Right now." But Willow can't bring herself to respond. She can't afford the vulnerability that answering would require. Because if she opens her mouth, if she says anything, everything she's been keeping locked inside might spill out. And once it does, there will be no way to undo it. Nina steps closer, almost reaching out a hand before stopping herself. She knows Willow won't accept it. She knows the walls are too high now. And yet she tries anyway, because she sees something in her daughter's eyes that terrifies her: resignation. Not love. Not excitement. Not joy. Resignation. The look of someone walking willingly into a storm because standing still feels even more dangerous. Nina's heart breaks a little more. She wants so badly to protect Willow, to shield her from repeating the mistakes that destroyed their family the first time. But Willow has barred her out so thoroughly that Nina's words bounce off her like whispers against stone. And if Nina presses too hard, she risks losing Willow completely. So she steps back, defeated but unwilling to leave. If she cannot save her daughter, she will at least witness what comes next. Meanwhile, Drew moves through the waiting area with an anxious energy he tries, but fails, to disguise. He thinks his nerves are normal wedding jitters, but deep down there's a darker truth. He senses the storm forming on the horizon. He feels a shift inside Willow that he cannot explain. He felt it when she said yes to his proposal, her shock poorly hidden behind a polite smile. He felt it when she didn't meet his eyes while planning the ceremony. He feels it now, an ache of uncertainty tightening in his chest. But Drew is stubborn. He has already lost too much in his life, his memories, his time, his family. He is determined not to lose Willow too. Not again. Not after everything they've already survived. Yet, ironically, his own choices are the very ones that pushed her away. Sleeping with Nina was a mistake he cannot undo. He believed honesty would fix everything, that revealing the affair would hurt Willow but eventually heal the wound. Instead, it created a fracture that never fully closed. And now, as he waits for the ceremony to begin, he cannot shake the feeling that he is building a life atop quicksand. He tells himself Willow loves him. He tells himself she wants this as much as he does. But somewhere beneath those reassurances lies a truth he refuses to acknowledge: Willow is not the same woman he once knew. And he is not the hero he once believed he was. Michael, however, watches all of this with a far more calculated eye. He stands off to the side, observing, absorbing, analyzing every subtle cue. His expression is friendly enough, but his mind is a labyrinth of strategies. Michael's true purpose, hidden beneath layers of charm and family loyalty, is finally nearing its breaking point. He did not come to support Willow. He did not come to bless this union. He came to prepare for the fallout he knows is inevitable. Because Michael Corinthos has always been two things: fiercely protective and dangerously strategic. And when he feels cornered, he strikes first. He believes Drew is a threat, not just to Willow, but to the stability of the entire Corinthos family. And Michael is determined to prevent that threat from taking root. He notices Willow's forced smile, the stiffness in her posture, the quiet tremor in her hands. He notices Nina hovering, unusually quiet, her expression tight with anxiety. He notices Drew pacing, his confidence wavering. And Michael connects the dots. Something is wrong. Very wrong. And while he doesn't know Willow's full plan, he senses she is about to make a decision that could change everything. He almost feels sorry for her, almost. But Michael learned long ago that sympathy is a weakness he cannot afford. He has made too many sacrifices, taken too many hits for this family. He knows how quickly everything can fall apart when people make emotional decisions instead of calculated ones. So as he watches the room vibrate with unease, he steels himself for whatever comes next. Meanwhile, Willow's thoughts spiral deeper, darker, more chaotic. She is battling herself, drowning in a tidal wave of doubts and fears. Every choice she has made lately feels like a reaction rather than an intention. She didn't choose Drew out of love. She chose him because she needed stability. She needed safety. She needed someone who wouldn't turn on her, or so she thought. But after discovering Drew's affair with Nina, even that illusion crumbled. And still, she's standing here, preparing to marry him. Why? She asks herself the question over and over, each time without an answer. Maybe she wants to prove she can move forward. Maybe she wants to punish herself for the mistake she made with Michael. Maybe she simply wants to silence the chaos inside by doing something, anything, that resembles control. But deep down, she knows the truth, she doesn't trust Drew. She doesn't trust Michael. She doesn't trust Nina. She barely trusts herself. She is marrying Drew to protect herself. Not emotionally, strategically. Willow is no longer the naive woman who bends and breaks for the people she loves. She has become someone who thinks ahead, who calculates, who plans her moves like a chess player rather than a dreamer. Something in her snapped the day she learned Michael tried to frame her. Something else cracked when Drew confessed his affair. And now, she is building a life based on self-preservation rather than love. It is not romantic. It is not fair. But it is real. As Willow stares at herself in the mirror, she sees the weight of every decision she's ever made reflected back at her. She remembers the girl she used to be, the gentle, hopeful, trusting soul who believed in happy endings. That girl died long before today. And what stands in her place is a woman who will not be blindsided again. Even if it means destroying the illusion of happiness she has worked so hard to create. She hears the soft knock at the door, Drew's voice calling her name, and her heart lurches uncomfortably. She knows what she is about to do. She knows the consequences will ripple through every corner of her life. But she also knows she cannot carry this charade much longer. Secrets have weight, and today hers feels heavier than ever. Nina steps back again, giving Willow space to breathe. Drew waits on the other side of the door. Michael watches from the hall. Liesl whispers a quiet prayer. And Willow, trapped between the life she planned and the truth she fears, closes her eyes. Everything is about to change. And none of them, not Nina, not Drew, not Michael, have any idea what she's truly preparing to do. The door creaks slightly, just enough for Willow to hear the faint brush of Drew's hand against the wood. His voice comes again, soft but anxious, the kind of tone someone uses when they fear the answer they're about to receive. Willow? Are you okay? They're ready for us. Ready. The word feels heavy, suffocating. Willow's breath catches, and for a moment she cannot tell whether she wants to run toward the ceremony or run as far away from it as she can. Behind her, Nina steps aside, giving her daughter space but watching her every move as though she's afraid Willow might collapse. And maybe she will. Willow can feel the tears burning behind her eyes, begging to fall, but she forces them back. She cannot break. Not now. Not in front of Nina. Not in front of anyone. Drew knocks again, more gently this time, as if sensing her hesitation. You don't have to rush, he says. Take another minute if you need it. Another minute won't fix anything. Another minute won't steady her trembling hands or silence the screaming inside her head. But Willow nods anyway, mostly out of habit, her gaze still locked on the mirror that has become a cruel reflection of everything she cannot say. Nina takes a small step closer, her voice barely above a whisper. Willow, sweetheart, please look at me. Slowly, Willow turns. For the first time all morning, she meets her mother's eyes. And in that brief moment, Nina sees the truth she has been fearing. Willow is terrified. Not nervous. Not uncertain. Terrified. Of what, Nina cannot tell. Of Drew? Of Michael? Of repeating history? Of losing control? It doesn't matter. What matters is that Willow is standing here, about to make a choice she doesn't seem ready for. Nina reaches out, just a small movement at first, hesitant, cautious, but Willow doesn't pull away. Not immediately. Her mother's fingertips brush lightly against her arm, and for a brief second, something soft flickers between them. A connection they haven't felt in months. But it passes too quickly. Willow steps back, her walls snapping into place as fast as they had dropped. "I'm fine," she whispers. The lie tastes bitter on her tongue. Nina doesn't push further. She knows from experience that pressing Willow when she's in this state will only drive her deeper into silence. So she steadies herself and nods, though the concern in her eyes never fades. From the hallway, Michael watches the door with a tension that coils tighter with every second that passes. He doesn't like delays. Delays mean doubt. Delays mean decisions being reconsidered. And decisions being reconsidered threaten the very outcome he has spent weeks preparing for. Michael doesn't trust Drew. He doesn't trust Nina. And despite his history with Willow, he no longer fully trusts her either. Not since she turned on him after discovering his plan. Not since she started shutting him out. He told himself he wanted to protect her. He told himself framing her with